Hey, this is Mr. Mollo going over the 1-4 and 1-5 review for today. I'm going to go through the odds, I'm going to go through the evens, and then your homework then is to do the odds. So if we look at number 2 here, we have the absolute value of -3 times 2. And so we have -3 times 2 is -6. And since we're talking about absolute value of -6, then our final answer is going to be 6. All right, looking at number 4, the absolute value of some number, r, equals 5. And there's two ways that we get that. The absolute value of 5 is 5, and then the absolute value of -5 is 5. So that one has two answers, and it is 5 and -5. If we look at number 6, we like problems like number 6, unlike number 9, because our absolute value is already by itself. So then my first step is to write two equations. One word equals a +9, and the other one word equals a -9. So I'm going to do the +9 first, so it is a +6. So I'm going to end up subtracting 6 from each side. 9 minus 6 is 3, so my first answer is 3. Now let me go over to the -9 side. It's a +6, so I'm going to -6. -6, and now -9 minus 6 is -15. All right, so that's that one. Okay, 8's a little more difficult because I have an 8 in front of the y. Otherwise, again, this is not a bad problem because the absolute value bars are already by themselves. So I can just start off right away writing my two equations. One with a +13 and one with a -13. Whoops, not a -13 yet. 8 minus 3 equals -13. Okay, so notice again the difference. I wrote one with a positive sign and one with a negative sign. So same steps on both sides. I'm going to add 3 to both sides, add 3, so I get 8y equals 16. Divide both sides by 8. We end up with y equals 2. And over here for the negative problem, I'm going to add 3 to both sides, add 3. -13 plus 3 this time is -10. Divide both sides by 8. Divide by 8. And I can simplify -10 over 8 to -5/4. So my two answers there are +2 and -5/4. All right, if we look at number 10 here. Oops, let's erase this. Okay, so for 10, kind of the same thing. I'm hoping that there's not anything on the outside. There's not. We have j equals 2j plus 3. So I'm going to write my two equations. One, just how it is, j equals 2j plus 3. The other one, again, I need to make one side negative. Since this one only has a j on that side, I'm going to multiply that side by a -j. So I'm going to make this -j equals 2j plus 3. Okay, so again, notice the difference. Here I have j equals 2j plus 3, and over there I have -j. So I just made one side negative. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 2j from each side. Subtract 2j from each side. I'm left with -j equals 3. I don't want a -j. I want a +j. So I'm going to divide by -1, divide by -1. So 3 divided by -1 is -3. Okay, and then over on the red problem with my -j, I'm going to do the same steps. Subtract 2j from each side since it's a +2j. And that gives me a -3j equals 3. And then let's divide both sides since it's -3 times j. So 3 divided by -3 is -1. All right, and then for the last problem, number 12. Okay, I got b plus 3 equals 2b minus 2. Okay, so it didn't change anything about that. And I'm going to do this one the harder way just to show us in case it ever comes up. I'm going to multiply the other side by -1. And you'll see why that's harder in a second. So I'm going to have b plus 3 And now multiply by -1, negative 2b. Multiply by -1, -1 times -2 is positive 2. So kind of tricky there because the 2b ends up becoming negative and the -2 ends up becoming positive. Okay, so I'm going to end up solving this. I'm going to subtract b from each side. 2b minus b is b. And then I got a -2, so I'm going to end up adding 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. So I get b equals 5 for one of them. Then over here for the red problem, I'm going to add 2b to each side. Add 2b. 2b and b makes 3b. I got a +3, so I'm going to -3. Hopefully you write smaller than me because I run out of room a lot. 2 minus 3 is -1. Divide by 3, divide by 3. So b is -1/3. All right, and then I will make another video going over the 1/5 stuff.